Hello and welcome to the next gripping instalment of the Aiwa AD6500. Let's get stuck in. So we're back with it, and since we last dealt with the issue, I have managed to acquire a service manual which I managed to download from the interweb net, and I discovered a couple of things. First off, this doesn't come out as easily as it did previously because I'm doing it wrong, but now it is almost there. Now it's out, yay! First off, this couples onto that, but then the belt underneath actually couples onto this one. And then this one goes to this one here. So for playback, it would appear that something else is driving the take-up spool for playback, and it's not that, because that is driving this one. So let's do that, and let's start belting this up. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do first off is I will give this a bit of a spritzeroo with some isopropyl. Ooh dear. There we are, nice liberal coating, because why not? And that will hopefully get everything in here nice and clean. Certainly smells lovely. The other thing I noticed is on some versions of these Aiwa decks, not this particular model, but on the 6550, the motor controller is a separate board. So you've actually got a little separate board which has the motor speed control on it. On this one, the motor speed control is actually in there. I didn't think it was, but no, turns out after some investigation that it is actually inside there. So that's where you control the motor speed. So I'm just going to clean all of this up a bit. Do you know, in all the years I owned it, did I ever clean the heads? I'm certain I did, but I can't remember. Yeah, I think I did actually. I think I cleaned the playback and record heads multiple times. So the playback and erase heads. So we'll just get the pinch roller sorted out. I think you can still get the pinch rollers for these as well. Probably not this exact pinch roller that I've got down here, but certainly a version of. Right, so give those a clean as well. There we are. Right, let's start belting it up now. So we're going to start with this one to this one, so we'll get that out the way first. Now, thankfully I do have the correct size of belts, hopefully. So in this box here I have many different things, and one of the things I purchased a few years ago was a selection of square belts. So these things, because they're called square belts because they've got the square sort of section. So I have hopefully enough to sort this out. So we'll start with this one, up and around and down. There you go, that's that one done. Now we need to get over to this one here. Now for that, I was a bit presumptuous. I'm going to go with another square belt. Let's check the sort of size there to there, that should do it. I'm going to go into here and come through underneath, and I'm hoping that way I can actually get this all the way underneath and then out. So let's just rest that to there. Let's tip this up, making sure that we support that there. And if I look under here, I can start to see the belt there actually. So if I come through with the belt here, you can see I'm holding the belt there. Now what I should be able to do is on this side, come through under here. Oops, sorry. Can't actually come up over and then over, sort of over that way, so to speak. Right, hold on a moment. Let me use these. So I've got these long-nosed pliers to go. Just grab that belt. So I'll actually do that again. So I'm going to come through like so. So through the gap here. But at the same time kind of go over as well. So what I'm trying to do is go through the gap underneath. And I'll grab that with these. And then at the same time loop it around there so that it comes down like that. So now you can see it's actually around that pulley there. Might not be able to see it because I've got a big flywheel in the way, so if I just push that out the way, you can hopefully see if I just move that there, you can see it has snagged around that pulley. So what I should be able to do now is unwrap it from one of those transistors that was snagging against, get it around the pulley itself, and then work it outside of the machine to about here and leave it there for the moment. Now put this back upright. There we go. And I can see it through there. So what I need to do is grab it with that, pull that through and over and around. Actually, I've just realised I might need to give these a bit of a clean, so I'll get the flat blade and just clean those off because they do have a bit of goo on them. So for that we need the flat blade, which is back here, and what we will do is we'll just put that there. There you go, that's one. Oh, gooey. And one down here. Perfect. There you go. And that's actually in the right place for the belt as well. So all we need to do now, long nose pliers, is bring that around and there. And then we can put this one onto there. I'll just get rid of whatever that was. So put this one onto here. Oops. So back onto there and up and around and over and over. There you go. Twist that a few times. You can see that this is spinning, being driven by that. So that is exactly what we want. Now we have a longer one to go from here to here, so we just need to dig out a longer belt, and I think I've got something suitable, so let's have a look. That might be too long actually, but let's see. So around there to here. There's going to be the distinct possibility that is too long, but let's try it anyway. You never know until you try it. Well, you do kind of know, to be honest, because you can kind of work it out. But in actual fact, that is perfect. And now we need a tiny little belt to go onto this one. So there's another belt that runs to the counter, and that's weird. I don't even know where that actually goes. I need to review the diagram again, unless it goes and does a double loop around. So that actually goes around the counter and this little tape running light thing. So the counter one, it's got a couple of little pulleys there, which I'll just show you by moving the camera. There's your couple of little counter pulleys there, and there's actually 2 reels on them. So I'll just pop that there for a sec and still focus on the action. So we'll just clean those up again with the flat blade. So we'll just get into there, and there is that one. There is that one. Here you go. And I need to review this because I'm not certain that this is the right way to do it. So what I'm wondering is if this is actually driven by the same belt as the little reel sensor thing. So that would come like that, is what I'm thinking. So then you'd have that. So that not only is that rotating the little tape running disc that you can see there, but it's also doing the counter as well that you can see there. And I'll be honest, I'm not certain if that is correct, but it seems to work, so we'll leave it like that for the moment, and if I need to change it, I can easily change it. Now that that's done and that's clean, I can probably put this back into place. So we'll just give this a wipe down. There's that little bulb there that actually illuminates the base. Those sorts of bulbs are still available. They are just soldered onto those contacts there, so if I ever needed to replace them, that should be something that I should be able to do. But I'm interested to see what is actually activating and what is actually controlling this playback. So the flywheel is over here somewhere. For some reason I've lost the flywheel, even though it is kind of the biggest item on the underside. It's weird, I don't know where it's gone. So the flywheel, oh, that's why it's over this side, because it actually is here. So, oh yeah, that drives this one. And I think that should be driving, yeah, that should be driving that. So, yeah, that might be why. So it should be driving that, and that might be because the flywheel isn't pressed in properly and secured. That might be why that's not moving. So for the minute, I'm going to leave that off. So I've just changed my mind. I'm going to leave that off because I think we may need to be in there again in a little while. I will put this cradle temporarily back into place, and I'll button up the underside and get everything else in place, because we're coming into the realm of testing this out to see if it works. So that is part of this, because that actually goes into there like that, I think. There it is. It's weird, it actually sits sort of slightly upright at the bottom. So, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it sits kind of up here. It doesn't actually sit down like that, it sits up. So, when you get it into place, it's upright like that, so obviously it avoids that metal spring thing and sits kind of like this. So under there like that with those bits, and then down like that there. So I've got that here. That goes around the motor down here. Actually, I think it goes over, so it goes under that spring there, around the flywheel motor, and sorry, around the motor, not the flywheel motor, but the motor and the main motor, around like so. There we go. Sorry, that was very out of shot, but motor, flywheel, poing, doink. Let's do that again. So make sure that's untwisted. Then motor, oh, come on, fella. Snaggy snag. Motor, on, flywheel, around, up, into place, and in. Now we need the flywheel bracket, which I've got down here. And we need a couple of screws to go in there, which I have in my little bag of screws. So the screws that you need will have a lock-in washer and a flat washer, and they will be very small in size. So they'll look like this, obviously crosshead as well. There's only one way that this will go on. This is also adjustable, so you can adjust this to change the amount of tension that you have on the flywheel. So if you have, I think if you have motor speed issues, this also helps because you reduce the tension on this flywheel. So tension on the capstan and pinch roller. And if you remember from last time, I lubricated it with a pencil because my understanding, graphite, dry lubricant, pencil, graphite, maybe it'll work. I hope it does. So let's get that. Probably need a bigger screwdriver if I'm perfectly honest. That one there. There you go. Let's get that screwed into place. That's pretty free flowing actually, and there's no, actually you can see it down there, there's actually no interference between this or the flywheel. That is as it is. Now if we come down here, let's move this out of the way again. Let's move that. Now if I press play, hoping that will work. So let's apply some power. So obviously nothing at the moment because the deck power hasn't been activated, but if I do that, yeah, I don't think the deck power is activated still. Let's put this in, see if that comes to life. So that would be, let's take that out again. So up there. Let's try this again. So back in, let's bring this up again, right there, so about here. Gonna be honest, I don't even know where these are supposed to go. Oh, goodness gracious me. Right, come out again. So I think that, I want to say that that's the main switch that determines whether this power's on, because it comes from the motor. And it does go to this mechanism, so I'm just going to just unhook that belt a minute. Yeah, that's the main switch, so you can feel the motor spinning. But there is just no torque to that motor at all. Oh, I have a horrible feeling that we've got a duff motor, you know. Because that shouldn't feel weak and feeble like that. That should be a good strong pull on the motor, and it should be enough to get the mech going. Okay, so testing this again. That's the motor. So at the terminal on this main switch, I'm getting right at the connector which goes to that main switch on the board here, I'm getting a 16 volts at the switch, which is a direct shot from that connector. So this is the main switch, 16 volts. If I put so I've unhooked the motor from its belt, that goes down to 14 volts. If I measure directly on the motor now, there's going to be obviously no volts. If I apply this, there's 11, nearly 12 volts. I think I've got a lazy motor. So you guys are right. I just need a replacement motor, and there seems to be motors available. I mean, this just has 2 points, So I should get away with a new motor, hopefully. So this one's become a little bit more involved than I thought it would, which isn't surprising given the age of it. We've managed to determine that there is a problem with the supply of voltage to the motor. I'm pretty certain that the circuit diagram states something like 14.4 volts. I might be wrong in that assumption, but that's why I'm going to check the circuit diagram a little bit later on. However, for the minute, I'm going to call it a day with this, because if something not frustrates me, but if I get a little bit confused with something or a bit annoyed with something, rather than persevere with it and break it, is always best take a step away, review the facts, take a look at the documentation, and come back to it with a fresh set of eyes and see where you are at that particular point. So, the project continues. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Check it again. See you again soon. Take care.